twice or 3 times a year, it is my absolute privilege to put together a crew, team, camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, of people who attend FUUF. Not necessarily members, not necessarily old members, but people who, when I twist their arm, are willing to stand. So I say that encouragingly because when Karen comes to calling, please answer. It would be hard to do in this, I believe, Sunday, where we had nobody. But today we have 4 vigorous, joyful souls to share their path or something about their path. This is all they're told. This is your topic. You get 5 minutes or thereabouts. Come and talk to us. So, without further ado, I am going to invite Brooke Cote to come up and be our first speaker. Thank you, Brooke.
Thanks, Gary. This I believe. It's a generative question, actually.
You're gonna have to speak up in that mic.
Speak up and
Can
move
you hear
forward.
me?
No,
Yeah.
speak up.
No.
Get close to that mic.
So when Karen asked me to do this, and I was pondering it, the first thing that popped in my mind was the old Buddhist saw all this change. A bit surprising to me, it wasn't glorious possibility, which has been there for about 40 years. What glorious possibility means, and the story behind it, will be the focus of my talk. But before I get to that, I thought of all the things I no longer am sure of. Like many of you, I'm of an age to look back on what many refer to as the naivety of youth. When I was young, like many in my generation, I had the Woodstock vision. Peace, love, that kind of stuff. I was sure that love was stronger than hate. I look around, I'm not as sure anymore.
It is.
There's a lot of people that believe that. Dr. Miller believes that,
Yeah.
clearly. And I think a lot of people here believe that, but I don't know. I listened to Bob Dylan and thought the times were changing. And they certainly changed. But if you would have told me back then that Trump would be president and a major candidate with 41 charges against him, I'd have never believed you in a minute. Now, glorious possibility came when I was a young man and I went to the Rocky Mountain Dharma Center. The Rocky Mountain Dharma Center is remote. To get there, you fly into Denver, take a small plane, kind of a prop plane, and land in an open field. There was 5 of us, and we got out and waited for somebody to pick us up because we're on this open field in the middle of nowhere. Eventually, an old station wagon came down on a mountain road, picked us up, and for 30 minutes drive up to an kind of an unpaved road to the center. About halfway there, the driver asked, ex-Catholics or ex-Jews? I want to say that ex-Jews just meant ex-Jewish religion. You can't be an ex-Jew, just like I can't be an ex-Caucasian. you know? But in my case, she was right. I was an ex-Catholic, often known as a recovering Catholic.
Yeah.
And the rest of the people were all Jewish. To me, she looked at me and asked, in pursuit of the glorious possibility. To the Jewish people, she asked, escaping despair. And they all agreed. I was personally stunned by the question. I knew right away what the glorious possibility was, and I was indeed in pursuit of it. As a little kid, you don't want to go to church, but be home and watch cartoons like your friends. But on some Sundays, the priest comes down the aisle dressed in really exotic robes, shakes an iron box of frankincense and myrrh. The choir goes into the Hallelujah chorus. There's a lot of things about Catholicism that makes little to no sense, but they know magic. And it crept into this little boy's head, and he went in pursuit of it. I found many things when I was filled with joy, and for me, I always came down. I also found sorrow many times, and thankfully I came out of that. The one thing that seemed always true was that it changed. So what do I believe? All has changed.
Yeah, we have a few ex-Catholics here. Or recovering. Okay, thank you very much, Brooke. That was lovely. The next person is Cindy Brooke Shafer.
If anybody read the newsletter,
Brooke Shafer.
they said Brooke Shields would be talking. I just wanted to be clear. I'm not her. Don't be too disappointed. Okay. So this is a bit of a from the darkness into the light. I started out as a happy soul, but repeated experiences with violence and abuse convinced me that I was unlovable. I felt doomed to be alone. These experiences kept me mentally confused and filled with terror and shame. I became split off from myself and from my spiritual beliefs and connection. When I was 16, I began to feel there was more to life than I had experienced. I spent many decades going to workshops, trainings, seeing therapists, all aimed at reclaiming myself. But shame continued to follow me around. I had several spiritual teachers who helped me, but in the end, I had to face myself and my shame. I had to learn to love myself, the person I had chosen to blame for all I had experienced. I believe in the power of prayer and meditation, connecting with our divine guidance and allowing that guidance to direct our path every day in every way. My guidance gives me specific instructions about where to go and what to do. This makes life an adventure. I mean, even right down to go to St. Vinny's, there's somebody in there, or go to the vegetable department at Safeway, there's somebody there. People who need your help. So it's really quite fun. I believe I am never alone. My guardian angels and guides are always with me. I feel their presence. I hear their voices. I believe that Earth is a school and when I sleep, it's recess. So I can travel to visit places and people I knew long ago or people who've crossed over. I think everybody might want to try that. I believe in loving ourselves no matter what we are feeling, thinking, or doing. Love is the best treatment for shame or any other fear. I believe in talking to myself, comforting myself, and allowing my higher self to talk to me. I put my hand on my heart if I'm having a hard time, and I just say, wow, I love you, I understand that you're feeling sad, and I can do a 2-chair exercise where I can talk to my higher self, and then I can sit in the higher self chair and talk back to myself. That's very effective. It's surprising what comes out. Healing is an inside job. Loving yourself, getting to know yourself will change your life. I know many of you, most of you know that. When I give myself permission to be my unique self, I will be better able to give others permission to do the same. I believe in loving everything that arises, even our shame, our hurt, our anger, our disappointment, our grief, our fear, our needs. I believe that everyone and everything, every experience comes to us as a teacher. I like to look for the lesson and the kernel of good that comes in different forms. Every seeming negative experience is sent to help me learn something. I see everyone as a teacher, a gift, a friend. We are all members of the same family. I believe in focusing on the good. Like, think about this. Think of how few accidents there are on the whole planet. When you think about how many billions and trillions of people are driving around all day, every day, there are really very few accidents. I like to focus on gratitude for everything I've been given. A mind, a heart, a voice, words and thoughts, emotions, compassion, a home, friends, and love. Where the mind goes, the energy flows. So focusing on what you appreciate, what we want, brings us more of the same. I believe in laughter and silliness, having fun, not taking yourself too seriously. I believe in trying new things, doing something that may be scary, like standing up here and talking to all of you. I believe in dancing. Dance to the rhythms of your life. Listen to the music that is all around you, that is within you. Express yourself. Play and have fun. I believe in the power of kindness to heal ourselves, our relationships, and our planet. 1 second of kindness to a stranger will ripple out into the world and affect hundreds of people. I know that kindness has always helped me out of a place of shame, because sometimes I can be hard on myself. We are not our experiences. We are not our shame. Forgive yourself for being human. See yourself as the most beautiful flower, a star. See your beauty, and you will begin to see others in the same way. And others will see you as you see yourself. So live in joy. Each of us is a unique expression of divinity. So there's no need for comparisons, no competition, no judgments. People came here to be who they are. There will never be anyone like any one of us in all of eternity. Each of us is completely unique and beautiful. And so it's just a wonderful thing. So celebrate yourself in every moment. I came here to prove, beyond the shadow of any doubt, that the light within us, that is us, can never be destroyed, no matter what. And I chose a life where I tried everything, and and here I am. And you know, a lot of that is due to the wonderful group here, the people here. You know, so much healing, so much laughter, so much love, so much caring. And I really appreciate everybody. The love we seek is hidden inside our own hearts. It is a power that, when unleashed, can change the world. Claim it, use it to help yourself and others heal. Thank you.
Next up, we have Christine. Christine Francis sometimes shares the musical responsibilities with Jeff for our music. And so I'm going to give her the mic instead of the piano.
When Karen asked me if I would consider being part of the I Believe service, and she told me there were three other people presenting, and that we would have 5 minutes each. And my immediate response was, 5 minutes to, cover with meaningful and with clarity what I believe? Okay, well then I thought, well actually maybe a little cynically I thought this, that maybe that was possible because after all members of other organized religions believe that Unitarians don't believe anything. Despite our defenses, 7 principles, the 4th one, the search for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So anyway, here goes. As I began this process of distillation, I was distracted by the word believe. And well, there is this thing called the internet, which provided me with roots for believing and belief. So the Latin cred, C-R-E-D, is the root for the word believe. This meaning is found in such words as creed, credential, credit, incredible, okay. On the other hand, the word belief comes from 2 words, be and leaf. Be comes from being, which is state of existence. To live is to be. The second word leaf comes from the Indo-European word lu, which means love. Belief, be loved. So there's no talk. Well, what I believe is to be loved. But that reminds me of the semi-famous quote, which you all may be familiar with, by Taylor Desjardins, about harnessing the power of love. And maybe this is too pure a distillation, so I will, and I have some time left. So, over the last few years, I have experienced a major shift in my worldview. I have a new awareness of the extent to which past scientific evidence and conventional assumptions have shaped my beliefs and my perceptions. Specifically, the story of what human beings are, which includes our biological origins, which remains murky, there's no missing link yet, an assumed superiority over other forms of life on this planet, our isolated existence within individual and unbridgeable separate mental states, what Alan Watts referred to as skin-encapsulated egos.
Yes.
And overall, a general acceptance of limited historical presence on Earth, discounting or ignoring any physical evidence of prior, possibly more advanced civilizations. However, the recent emergence of a new science based on quantum physics, as well as new interpretations of archaeological evidence and more public disclosures of extraterrestrial interaction on Earth, now and in the past, have all contributed to kind of an internal revolution in the way I perceive the experiences of you, of daily life, the whole journey of being human, and the overall purpose and meaning of my life, the what I believe, if you will. One could say I've experienced a shattering of my former paradigm. A bit like Aldous Huxley, I feel the doors of perception have been opened, not necessarily by plant medicine, and something new is emerging. I've come to see that duality, as opposed to oneness, is integral to a three-dimensional consciousness. I think the yin-yang symbol perfectly reflects the essence of this dimension. And most of you are probably familiar with the Tai Chi too, which shows a balance between two opposites. And Carl Jung saw it as a representation of the interaction between opposites and the unity within these opposing forces. There is no position without its negation. In or just because of their extreme opposition, neither can exist without the other. This is a level of consciousness, vibration, if you will, and it sums up the three-dimensional density that we inhabit in these human bodies. However, when I shift my perception and surrender to interconnectedness, consciously opening up to a feeling of oneness, stepping into the wholeness that holds the yin-yang, what the new science now calls the field, my view of reality changes, and ultimately not just my view, but my reality. And holding this awareness, I feel the responsibility of my words, my intentions, and my actions, how they all contribute to the whole. I begin to accept, even though I might not understand, that the field responds to me because I am connected to it. So abandoning separateness and focusing on the interrelatedness of everything becomes a daily practice. And in that practice, the ego is there, but not all powerful, and a construct rather than who I am. So those statements are probably the distilled essence of what I believe. In the 1960s, Timothy Leary wrote some words to describe how one begins to move from the separateness to connection. Admit it, you aren't like them. You're not even close. You may occasionally dress yourself up as one of them. Watch the same mindless television shows as they do. Maybe even eat the same fast food sometimes. But it seems that the more you try to fit in, the more you feel like an outsider, watching the normal people as they go about their automatic existences. For every time you say club passwords like "have a nice day" and "the weather's awful today," you yearn inside to say forbidden things like, "Tell me something that makes you cry," or "what do you think deja vu is for?" Who knows what you might learn from taking a chance on conversation with a stranger. Everyone carries a piece of the puzzle. Nobody comes into your life by mere coincidence. Trust your instincts. Do the unexpected. Find the others. I wanted to share those words with you, not only because I embrace those last directives, but because I also feel I have found the others here at FUUF and in Florence. And so many of you have helped me with my personal growth in ways you probably do not know. It's an absolute delight and a blessing to be in the company of like-minded people, also on a path of awakening. But of course, everyone, Mr. Trump included, is on that path. And so I know that it's very important to confront the automatic perceived differences that arise in me when I don't have resonance with someone. Ultimately, what I viscerally dislike about any person and emotionally react to is most likely something in myself that I haven't accepted or that needs my attention. That difficult person provides an opportunity for me to self-reflect and expand my compassion for them and for myself. Let's face it, it ain't easy being human. And to paraphrase the dead, what a long, strange trip. So, to conclude, I'd like to share a poem by William Stafford. It's a ritual to read to each other. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood, storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parade, holding each elephant's tail, if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs, but not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no, maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. Well, I think I stretched that 8 or 9 minutes, but thank you for your kind attention.